1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome back to Blake's Craft Beer Podcast. My name is Blake Longfell. This is actually episode 140. Just starting to get up there a little bit. I just want to take a moment and thank all my listeners and also everyone that has graciously let me interview them once, twice, maybe 10 times, depending on who you are. I would like to always interview people again, and I enjoy having people on and talking craft beer, drinking good beer, and today's going to be no different. I have three amazing guys with me. We're going to be talking about hops in the Hangar and anything else we dive into, because there's seems like in the craft beer world there's something always to talk about. Good, bad, and maybe in the middle some days. But please introduce yourselves.
I'm Dan Lauro, owner and brewer at Gravel Road Brewing Company in Middletown.
I am Blake's co-host, Alex Rhinehart from Third Eye Brewing in Sharonville.
My name is Wes. I guess a TikTok personality more than anything. Sometimes I brew beer. I'd also like to thank Blake's listeners because, you know, they're cool. They're cool people, I hear.
I hope so. But it's good to have you guys back on. And like I said, you guys have been on some. You're second. I don't know where. 3,
2, I don't know.
I know, but
27.
yeah, probably. Yeah. But no, so I want to start with the good. We were talking about it a little bit. I want to start with Dan. You just broke huge news for your brewery.
I guess it's huge. Yeah, we are going to be the new home of HBYOB, the Dayton Homebrew Shop. So, you know, after Listerman closed, there's a lot of people in Cincinnati that only had one place to go, and it made sense to relocate to a middle place between the two cities to better serve both communities. So Joe and I have been talking for a while, and we went ahead and made the jump. So, and the official relocation will be September 1st, but we've already started doing pickups here, and over the next couple of weeks we'll probably move some product down here before a final big push at the end of the month.
How does that excite you guys? I know you guys aren't really homebrew, but
I mean, I if I need a bag of grain, like an emergency now, I only got to go like 3 blocks, which I'm not going to ever complain about.
No, I mean, it's always cool to see breweries doing things like that. You know, so many breweries started as homebrewers, and I think as we lose more homebrew shops, we lose that pipeline a little bit of the next people up. So glad to see that Dan can play a role in keeping everything kind of rolling for home brewing.
Because where would you say the state of home brewing is?
I mean, I've been out of it aside from just some wonky batches that I did here to use up random grain. I don't even really know. I know there's some pretty active clubs.
I mean, we host one at New Ales. It's once a month. We'll get 4 guys pretty consistently. Biggest group we've seen, 8 maybe 10. It's guys that have been in the club for 15 years. So they're really struggling to attract new people into like being excited about making beer.
Is it more, you think it's more of a cost reason, or is it just that time and effort to do it, or where you think, or is it just easier to just go buy beer from you guys and call
Probably
it a day?
that. Yeah, I think it's easier to get beer, and let me tell you, man, everyone's got ADHD now, and the hardest part's waiting for your beer to be done. Because I'll brew it, I'll put it in the fermenter, and 2 weeks later, I'm like, I'm ready to taste it. And like, I don't care if it's flat. Like, I'll start drinking it. And I know a lot of the homebrewers are the same way. So they probably do that, think they don't have a very good batch. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
No, I see comments all the time. I'm in a couple of the homebrew forums on Facebook because of my time in homebrewing, and there's probably not a day that doesn't go by where I don't see a picture of someone's fermenter going, is it done yet? Is it, is it, there's no bubbles? Is it there? Like, dude, just chill.
Just wait 3 more weeks.
Yeah. Well, if you think it's done, it's not. It's got at least another 2.
Is that where people you see make mistakes? They say, oh, no more bubbles, I mean it's good to go.
Oh, yeah. It's not bubbling, it's done. No, it's not. It's not frothy anymore. That was one comment I saw the other day. Guy said, it's not frothy anymore. Is it done? No. So I think it's also, I think it is a time thing though. Like, right, we had a big boom during COVID. People had lots of spare time, lots of extra money, nothing to do. And now that there's a push to get people back in the office and all that stuff,
I'd just tell you the worst part about homebrewing for me was getting shit out and cleaning it, putting it away. As soon as you go to a brewery and you're like, oh, it just stays here. Like that's the best part. Like,
I don't have
corner
to
of the
clean.
garage, like where you just everything sits, you don't have to clean it. Perfect. Well, clean it. But you don't have to clean it, put it away.
So do you still see those people that homebrew that are like still might have the itch? Hey, I want to start a brewery. Do you think that's still a little bit out there, or do people who are just homebrewing just wants to stay homebrewing, don't want to go any further?
There's been a couple in here, and I've told them no, don't. Just enjoy.
So Dan's scaring everyone away.
Yes, just stay in your garage. Don't turn your hobby into a business.
I can see how he's getting the homebrew guy in here now. I see this business angle he's coming at. I tell everyone to start a brewery.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want everybody to start a brewery, and then there's more competition. No, I think there are some that definitely have like dreams of doing that, and by no means, do I say don't do that. But also, just because you're good in the garage doesn't mean you're good at scale, and there's a learning curve, and you better be ready. Because there are habits and there are things that you can get away with, and I've seen it at a homebrew scale, and when that brewer transitioned to a bigger scale, he carried those habits with them, and the beer has suffered for it. So,
I mean, that's usually what I tell homebrewers too when they come in and say, hey, I'm thinking about opening a place. I'll say, go work in the industry. Go find someone that will let you work for them for a while, because there's so many things that you don't know that you'll very quickly find out, and it may not be
beer twice.
Yeah.
And then bring it to me.
Yeah.
Let's see what it tastes like.
So always just tell them, if you're making great beer at home, that's awesome, but go work in the industry first before you make that jump.
It's all about consistency.
Is that the hardest transition from going from a home brewer to a pro? Is the consistency is the number one?
In my
Oh,
opinion, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Got to be consistent.
Yeah, if you're going to have a beer on tap year round, it better taste the same year round.
Even if it's terrible, it better taste terrible every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That and I've seen a lot of homebrewers who they just overcomplicate their recipes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've got 3 different types of crystal malt and 2 different roasted barleys and this base and this
What
and
are
that.
you
And
brewing, pumpkin ale?
and I'm just like, you could do this with like 3 malts, dude. Like, less is more. And trying to get them to learn, like I was working with one guy who's moved up, that, when you start scaling up, something that's like 1% of your grist at, a 5-gallon or 10-gallon batch ain't mean nothing when you're at 5 barrels, 10 barrels. Like, might as well just eliminate that. Yeah. You probably eliminate it out of your 5-gallon batch, but like having these recipes that have 10 different grains in them is not a thing.
That quarter ounce of chocolate malt made the whole difference.
Yeah, definitely scaling, I think they struggle with as well. Like you're saying, just not understanding that you don't necessarily need all that much.
Yeah.
Because you have guys coming in not understanding that it's not 1-to-1 scaling.
Yeah.
And I've seen some pretty bad first batches try and do
I had a guy in
1-to-1.
here who not only didn't understand that it's not a linear scale in terms of grist, but also in hops. Like, he didn't understand hop utilization going from small batch to large batch.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just like, this is
Mine's just yeast. Just pitch more yeast. If you want to be a home brewer, just one little pack that you buy for 5 gallons, just buy 2 of them. Put both in. There you go. You made better beer. It's Wes's tip of the day.
All right, what's some other things you notice? Some other issues that people might not realize. Hey, I'm great here. Let's take it to the big leagues, per se. Or do people also get in trouble like when they go to homebrew competitions too? Does that lead them all the wrong way as well?
I think so, because I've judged in the past 2 years 3 homebrew competitions, and while the winners were good beers, it wasn't a high bar to get to be a winner, because the number of beers that I had that just didn't. I mean, I had beers that were bottles that were half fills. There was a beer that someone who was sitting at this table said, "Oh, it's a historic beer, Dan. You have to drink this." And the minute I opened it, I was like, "I do not want this to touch my palate. This is awful."
Was I there for that one? I think I might have been there for that.
Yeah, you were. That was the acronym.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that, while it is fun to win the medals and everything, I think the people that are doing good maybe get a false sense of how good they are, because the competition in some cases, and I'm not saying all cases, but a lot of the ones that I've judged, I would say over 40% of the beer was basically unpalatable.
I think one of the things you were saying earlier about the idea of like getting equipment out, cleaning it, putting it away, like homebrewing, right? If you screw up a batch, like I'm out my weekend and I'm out some bucks, but like at the professional level, you're not out just your weekend and a couple bucks, right? It's a whole lot more. And I think a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of those bad habits that homebrewers develop carry over, and it's like, I can cut this corner. No, you
7
can't.
days and it's done every time.
Right, like you can't cut those corners when you're brewing at a professional level, and sometimes it's hard to be like, all right, I get it. Like, this is going to take me an hour longer to do this now, but I got to do it.
Yeah.
The business side of things, that just because you make good beer in your garage and maybe you make good beer at scale, if you don't understand, like,
I'm still trying to learn that.
How important your pricing is, cost of goods.
That's what your TikToks are for.
Exactly. Efficiencies, even. Like, I know a dude who, like, I told him, I'm like, you just got he's got like a 65% efficiency. I'm like, this is terrible for a 3-barrel batch, man. I'm like, you could cut your costs so much if you would just work on figuring this out.
Yeah, but a homebrew scale, you're cutting cost. What do we? You increase your efficiency by like 30%, you save like $3.
But it's like the linear scaling thing. You like understand.
This is how it shows.
Thank
someone
you.
left their touch tunes on. This is brought to you by Tyler Childers.
Okay, after some music. But, where were we?
We're just
The
shit talking
business
homebrewers.
side, yeah. And I think
really laying into it.
I think one of the things you're bringing up the idea of the home brewers, they make a good homebrew and like, I can do this. Like, that is such a small part of the brewery business. There's so much more that goes on to it. Even before we went on air, we were kind of talking about kind of the regulation side of things and just that world that, as a home brewer, if you've never been exposed to it, wow, there's so much to go into.
Yeah, because we were, taxes, TTB, paperwork, just to be able to say you make beer. I was debating on getting like a winery license to go with the brewery, and it's like, I got to get a whole new license from the TTB now. It's just,
Dedicated area
a Hops and
outside
a
of your
Hangar,
normal
so we have to
stuff.
get a solicitor's license now to even be at Hops and a Hangar, or I'm not welcome there.
Solicitor's license to be at a beer event where we're not doing anything and we're not allowed to do anything.
Well, that just allows you to talk about the brewery.
Yeah.
Thanks, government.
So I guess we'll go in. What is a solicitor license for
We
people?
don't even know. I paid $50 for it, and I got it. It's good for the next 3 years. I'm now allowed to sell my own beer that I make, I think.
Yeah.
I
So
think.
solicitor's license, essentially, if you wholesale or you sell anything, you have to have this license for me to be able to walk next door to the swire and say, hey, I make beer next door to you. Do you want this beer? Without the solicitor's license, that's an illegal thing to do. It's a money grab, right? Like it's $50 per head that goes to the event.
So does every rep,
yes.
sales rep, have to have a solicitor's license in the state?
So if you go to the event and you've got 3 people that are with you,
Yes.
they have to all have it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's good to know now and to not watch during your event, right?
Right?
Yeah. I guess we got Mary to thank for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever I get a panic call from Mary, I'm like, oh shit, it's important.
I'm sure you get some good calls now and then, right?
It usually it's that she has that tone of voice like, Wes, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, what do I need to buy now? So yeah, we'll figure it out.
What did I do wrong?
But is it good to have someone in that your back
absolutely.
corner that help you leads you?
Yeah. Yeah, I
she's-
mean, especially since, no one, they're auditing all these events now and they're cracking down on everything. And so she was the first one to hear about it. And honestly, without her, hi, Dan.
Right.
What's up, Mary? So, Dan. Okay. What did I do wrong? Call. We still wouldn't have heard about it. We wouldn't have known until they showed up and audited the event. And then that would be a whole nother, some of us may have actually been pouring our beer. Oh, God.
So are you not allowed to pour your beer?
We are not allowed to pour our beer.
Wow, that's crazy.
We are not allowed to pour our beer.
So I'm actually going to go pour Dan's beer, and he's going to pour mine. And
Ooh,
we
I
found a
wonder how
loophole.
that works.
I don't know how that works. How's that work?
That might be a loophole.
I think we just found the loophole.
Because then you can describe my beer properly, and I don't have to educate volunteers.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to educate the masses.
What? Okay, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. Why is Ohio so against you guys pouring your own beer, trying to educate people?
Have no clue.
I couldn't give you an answer for that one.
Yeah. Zero clue.
Because I've been.
My guess is if you dig deep down into it, it's probably some holdover from the 3-tier system.
Yeah. Because I'll never forget, I went to this Cast Fest out in St. Louis, Missouri at second shift. All you had to do was pay a $75 ticket price to get in. There was no beer tickets.
Oh.
Brewers were pouring their own beer, and there was no limit. They said, good luck, have fun.
Sounds like heaven.
Just be careful.
Just be
Until about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's how every beer festival in Ohio ends.
Yeah.
It's not how it starts, but it's how it ends. Unless you're the government listening.
That is not
Government's
what
out
happened.
there.
That's not
That's
what
actually
happens.
where
We're very good at counting tickets.
Because funny enough, my friends at Yellowmatic told me about it, and I met Justin Trillian out of Branch of Bone there, out of the limb. But it was such a cool event I did. But it was like,
Man, I wish we had cool events. Speaking of cool events, we got Hops in the Hangar coming up.
yes, we did.
Yeah, it's the only place where you can go to a beer festival and see an air show, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
And
talk to me,
Timberwagon.
where are the origins of that?
I mean, I think the origins was just like, hey, let's do something cool in Middletown. What does Middletown have to offer that, like, a lot of other areas don't? Like, we're not doing this in Dayton because they got their own air festival. They got a lot more security there. We're not doing this anywhere else, right? Like, so Middletown, if you're going to come here and you're going to, bend the rule a little bit, like, we have to tape off one section of the hangar for the sheriff's helicopter. You're not allowed to get near it. But other than that, just in case he needs it. But other than that, we get the whole hangar to ourselves, and it's awesome. People bring lawn chairs, you set them up. I think it was my first year there. It was 2 years ago, maybe 3. They had like the Red Bull airplane guys out there flying at each other, and you could hear them practicing like all day long in our backyard. And it's just like that. No one else is getting that airtime in any other strip. So it's just something that it can only be done in areas where there's not a lot of eyes on them.
I think it's also one of the last good examples of what beer festival can be.
Yeah.
Because instead of just, oh, look, there's beer. There's beer, there's food trucks, there's the air show. There's something else going on that makes it interesting. I think the days of the old Halloween type, we got a Coliseum full of beer. What else do you have?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, we need some entertainment too.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
provides both.
And 40 breweries showing up, you get a good sampling from across the state, which I think the other thing that the beer events have run into is these days with the number of breweries in an area, but your bottle shops and everything else, like, beer is really accessible. There's no longer are you finding something really rare or weird. It's easy to get a hold of. I remember going to the early days of Halloween and getting rare bottles from places out of like Cleveland and stuff because they didn't ship them. Now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're giving people a reason to go aside from the beer. I think everybody brings at least one funky weird beer just for shits and giggles.
I definitely am. What are you bringing? It's funky and weird.
I'm gonna bring that beet beer, the smoked beet beer.
I haven't had that one.
Well, go get yourself some.
Is it on tap?
Yeah.
I might have to. The last one I had was the smoked squash beer.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with beets?
No.
Okay. I like it. I'll try it.
It's good. I can attest.
All right. Good deal. I'm bringing mustard.
Mustard beer?
Yeah. The mustard lager.
Yeah, nice.
Dude, everyone that comes to the brewery and like sits down, they're like, mustard lager. It's like a mustard in it? I'm like, No, I just named it that.
You'd only be making
Name
better.
after Colonel
You would make
Mustard.
it better
Yeah.
if you made it with hot dog water.
Ketchup beer's been on the table now. Hot dog, I was really close to brewing a beer with hot dog water. It still might happen. It still might happen.
How do you feel about this, Alex?
Do you, man? Do you?
Are you taking these back to Kelly?
There's a reason we brew small batches,
Right.
okay? Like super small
Hey,
batches.
it
Trust me,
might
I was
be
there
clear-
too.
Hey, Kelly, I want to do a mustard lager, but I want hot dog water as the base. So
Hey, it
Yeah.
might be like your meat stout. It might be pretty close to it.
that's hey.
I mean, the number of people that talk about that meat stout to me to this day.
It was the number one question I was asked at OCBA.
Yeah.
When are you doing it again? I still have customers coming in. When are you going to do it again? When are you going to do it again? And I'm just like, of all the weird things.
That's what I just think I'm gonna start brewing weird shit. Like everyone likes, crispy lagers and stuff until they see mustard on tap or meat stout. And they're like, never mind that lager that's crispy and clean. I want to drink weird stuff. I like these people. These are my people.
Yesterday, I went through Barrel House and I had to try this Malort Ranch.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Someone needs
It's
to have an
salty.
intervention with Gus.
He's even put Malort and everything.
Gus, if you're listening, I'm worried about you, man.
I'm not worried about it.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, do it.
Some of the creations he does, you think it's gross, but you still like, I gotta do this.
It's Malort.
That's
It
what it's
will
about,
always
man.
be gross.
Getting people in the door, man. That's what it's about.
Like the one he had O-base spice in it. Oh, that wasn't bad.
I like all day.
I just love the fact that you can go someplace and get a Malort flight. Like, it's just, that's insane. Like, 10 years ago, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, no. But now,
Would have said like, "What's Malort?"
Like about a month ago, was at Beer Temple. My buddies and I were describing them what we do in Dayton. You do that with the Malort? Chicago, I think, wasn't ready for that.
they're going to stop giving it to us.
Yeah. Dayton, Ohio specifically. You guys are banned. You're not allowed to have anymore.
But
I mean,
for-
they are an official Malort bar. Like,
I wonder what the volume he goes through is. I want to see some numbers here.
he has to be like,
He's got to be like top in the state.
oh, it's got to be top in the state. I mean, it's got to be one of the top in the country, I'd imagine.
It's got to be.
Do you guys have one stair to like at each of your breweries?
What?
Do you have Malort like on standby at your breweries?
No.
If I was going to keep something on standby, it'd be Rumpleman's.
I don't have Malort at the brewery, but I've got Malort on standby at my house.
Underbird. That's what I would have at the brewery.
You're a brave man.
What you do is, like, after someone comes in, you give them a few beers, and like, oh man, you got to try this thing, and then you just hit them with it.
Oh, it's a trick. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that how you get them to leave? Like, all right, Alex, I'm going home now.
No, what really concerns me is when I give someone a shot of Malort and they go, oh, this is good. I'm like,
How was your childhood?
yeah.
You know, the last normal one I had in Chicago, I was like, this ain't bad. Maybe I had too many of them, but
Blake, we're a little concerned about you.
that's all right. I fit right in with you guys. That's perfect. But you said 40 breweries are coming?
Yeah. That's
Ish.
the
Yeah.
plus or minus. I'm sure there will be some that don't show up, but I think last year was, 38?
It's always around that number. We fill the hangar.
Yeah.
We fill the hangar. Other than police helicopter, there's usually an airplane parked in the middle. But I mean, we fill it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the plane in the middle last year was the raffle for the ride in it.
And then there's planes lined down basically the exit of the hangar. We open up the big hangar doors, and right out front there's just, I guess, I don't want to say model planes, display planes. You can climb on them a little bit, go up and they usually got the engines opened up, so it's very much an air show. It's an air show and beer festival. I don't really want to say it's a one or the other.
And no one's walked into a prop yet.
Has anyone stole a plane yet? I'm kidding.
No, but what was it? 2 years ago, we had the Huey helicopter giving rides, which was really freaking cool. Just because, like, I'm brewing beer, it's like 1 in the afternoon. The event doesn't start for another 3 hours, and they're out there giving rides to like my regular customers. I'm getting pictures from the air, and I'm like, sounds like Nom out here. This thing flying over and just about to be stuck. I'm out there playing CCR. Like,
How long has this festival been running?
that's a great question. Longer than I've been a brewery.
Well, let's find out.
Because I know 2020 was a COVID year. They did not do it. But other than that, it's been running since then. And I know at least happened a year before, or a year or two before then. So
7th year.
7th year.
Yep. First year was 2018.
So, well, I think we were talking about what makes a beer festival special. Because I feel like some festival they might still happen, but might lose their touch a little bit.
I think it what goes along with the beer.
Yeah.
Like it's no beer festival is. I mean, should be just the beer. There's plenty like that, right? And those aren't special beer festivals. If you want a
anymore.
special beer festival, then it's what are you doing along with the beer?
Yeah, I think the first really good glimpse of what beer festivals were going to be is the Dayton Strong event, where you had crafts and music and vendors and a farmer's market.
Was that Big Beer and Barley Wine? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's the one that we held for the shooting victims.
Oh, yeah.
But that event had, you had your food trucks, you had your like street fair, open market type thing with vendors and crafts and whatnot, and the beer. And there were bands that were playing. So for the first time, you had something other than just the beer.
Right.
And I think that was the first time in a few years that I had seen a really big turnout. Because by then, Halloween and stuff had started to trail off and all that. And that was really kind of, I remember having the discussion at one of the Dayton Brewers meetings. This is kind of, maybe this is the direction things are going, as the traditional beer event was starting to peter out. But I think that's what makes hops so good, is because there's other things going on. There's other stuff.
Yeah, I think so this year is the first year too that they're doing a viewing area for the air show that's outside of the ticketed event area. So you can come down and just hang out in the park and watch the air show.
Yep.
And not be a part of the beer tastings and the ticketed admission. Which is half the show, right? You can come down and experience half the show for free. And if you ever run a beer festival and half of your event it has enough demand that the local public wants to come to, even though they don't drink beer, I think that says a lot about the festival itself and what you're providing, right?
Yeah.
Like what makes a beer festival good? Well, the shit that's not beer is so good that the local public wants to come out and stand in the field to watch it. That's a pretty good beer festival. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the guys inside, we're just getting hammered and watching airplanes. It's great.
And not pouring our own beer.
But not pouring our own beer.
No. But still drinking your beer. But
Yes.
you just can't
Wait,
pour
is
it.
that, can I not pour my own beer for myself either?
Ooh, that's a good question. We're going to have to call Mary.
We need clarification on the rules.
I got the liquor control guy's number in the phone.
We need clarification on the rules.
We'll call Harold.
Does it still count as pouring if I pour my own beer for myself?
So do you guys already know what beer? I know we talked about it a little bit, what beers you're bringing.
Whichever ones are registered.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm doing all cans this year. I think the jockey box is starting to go away. It's also a pain in the ass to clean afterwards. I also hate trying to train people on how to pour a beer, and pouring a 4-ounce beer is never easy. That's why I hate flights so much. So just having cans, it also lets you bring a bigger variety. I'm definitely taking that beet beer. I'll probably take one of the light beers, then 2 other, like the brown or something like, a couple of the ones that are the specialty of the house type situation. So you've got something that's out there, something that's special, and then at least one beer that's an easy drinker when people need to pace themselves. Wes, pace yourself.
Oh, I'm going to be there for some of it, but not all of it. Don't worry. Don't worry about me.
Alex, I'm looking at you.
Let's see. Here's the list I got. So we'll be bringing West Coast Vibes, which is our new West Coast Pils, our pumpkin pie, our candy sour, our Nirvana or Bust, which is our hazy, and then we might be busting out a little Space to Continuum as well.
Ooh.
There's
Oh.
our pumpkin.
Now I'm gonna have to show up.
I am not bringing pumpkin this year. And it seems like people were mad at me for that one, but they'll get over it. Because I think the last 2 years, our VIP beer has been pumpkin. And it's like, nah, you guys can wait another week or till it comes out. I know I'm bringing Imperial IPA, some Goza, mustard lager, and something else that I'm not 100% sure yet.
But it is registered, right?
Yeah. It's all
Okay.
registered. Yeah. Promise.
I guess we'll go into this. What do you mean by registered?
So every single beer that you produce and name you have to write a check to the state of Ohio. So if let's say you're some gigantic beer corporation that makes their entire living on brewing one specific yellow beer that doesn't taste very good, you'd had to pay $55 one time, and you're good for life. Let's spin it a little bit and say you're a small craft brewery that actually likes to do things like play with flavors and innovate. Maybe there's a new hop comes along and you want to like get in on the ground floor and brew like a 1-barrel batch of it. So now you, as the smaller, more crafty, producer, you now have to pay $55 for every beer that you name. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that's saying like, this seems like it favors the big beer company, but this is complete horseshit. So, that's me. Anyone else?
No, it's a money grab.
It's a money grab.
Literally, when you register, you say, this is my beer name / beer style. Here's the ABV, done.
I wrote it out on a keg collar.
Yeah.
A pre-printed keg collar.
Yep.
With just the name, style, ABV. And you had to take a picture of it and send it to him.
If Wes decides to change the ABV on his mustard lager from 4.5% to 5%, he has to re-register it.
The ABV is what it is.
Yeah. So, and let's be fair, we've had breweries in the Dayton area that were known for never making the same beer twice. So you've got a brewery that's got 10 or 12 taps and they never make the same beer twice. I mean, that's a pretty big strain on a small independent business to chuck $55 out the window every time they get creative.
Yeah, we've done like anniversaries. I've done anniversaries with more than one brewery where the anniversary was like, let's just brew some random one-off kegs. We're not even brewing it. We're putting the same beer into 6 different kegs and then like adding different variants to each of them.
So each of those variants need a...
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you're paying $55 on 5 gallons of beer to sell it for one day, and you're not even making your money back. So,
I mean, if you really look at it, it's a money grab. Like you sit down and you say there's 340 breweries in the state. 300 of them are small breweries, 10 taps, $55 a tap.
Because didn't that get a little lax during COVID too? That they weren't really checking.
everything got lax during COVID.
Everything got lax during COVID.
You can do whatever you want. You can almost still do it, but every once in a while they like to get you. It's the man trying to bring us down, man.
We're both going to get knocks on the door this week.
I invite them in.
Here, have a mustard beer.
Yeah.
Is
We
that
good.
registered?
We good.
How about you put more in that mustard beer? There you go.
I'm in. Gus, let me know.
Watch, Gus has got to have a mustard if he hasn't done it yet.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to do the beer thing. I'm just going to do the mustard thing. Forget you, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in. I'll come drink it. I've not had more ever, but I feel like that would be the one that has to get me up there. We'll film it. We'll make a TikTok. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Speaking of your TikToks, how have you been enjoying it so far?
Let's see. I mean, I don't post as much as I should. New Ales got enough people on there to, I don't know, we got a bit of a following on TikTok from New Ales, and then we opened the sandwich shop next door, so I've kind of been working on that a little bit also. So if you don't, press room sandwiches, that's kind of like my cooking one versus my brewing one. So I get a little bit of both worlds. They both got the same vibe, though. One of them is definitely more music-driven. New Ales, we try to keep beer, brewing beer, complaining about beer. The press room is more music. I know, like, we got music festival coming up later in September, and half of my staff, or over half my staff, is all leaving to go to that festival at the same time. So we're just gonna have to shut down for like a day or two because that's all we got to do. So, but making fun of it, making light of it, that's what we like to do on TikTok, on Facebook, Reels, I guess, whatever you old people want to call it. It's TikTok. So,
Alex, have you considered?
No.
yeah, you do good on there. Let me get you.
Right?
Yeah, we can film something.
Nah. It's I am not a big social media guy.
Same.
So especially now at a Third Eye, I got people for that.
I ain't got no people.
People now.
It must be nice.
And Dan probably know.
I despise social media. It's a cesspool. It's an unfortunate, necessary evil, though, for a small business, because let's be real, we're not paying $500 a month to Roku ads for targeted stuff. Billboards are dead. Print is dead. We're not paying for anything else,
It's kind of the only option.
We're stuck into it. So, but the problem that I'm starting to see, and I don't know, well, you've got people, so your people might see it, Alex, is that as Facebook becomes worse and worse, and social media just gets more polarized and whatnot, I'm seeing a lot of people that are starting to pull away from it, and they're now all of a sudden, oh, your website is important again, or calling up the brewery because they'll flat out say, I don't follow this stuff. I mean, even my feed, every third thing is something I don't want to see, and I'm constantly going, no, I don't want to see this. And
I got
Facebook's like,
customers that don't even see what I post.
30 days, you don't have to see it. And I'm like, I don't ever want to see it again. And where's that button?
Yeah.
I do the Instagram because I have to, and then the Facebook, and actually the cat chicken nuggets got the best following of us all, but he's a cat on the internet, so
Yeah.
I mean, the day we made the meat beer and I posted it, the first comment was, "Where's Chicken Nugget?"
Yeah.
Not, "Oh, cool, you guys are doing this like crazy thing."
Right.
Where's Chicken Nugget?
Where's the cat? Yeah. And I don't even know what is the other one, Clip Clop, TikTok, whatever.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's TikTok is a short video format app where you can watch, like, you remember Vines? You're old. You remember Vines? Same thing.
So it's for people with ADHD that can't watch more than 10 seconds at a time?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
then you got the
useless
Boomer
anyhow.
edition, which is Facebook Reels. My dad loves Facebook Reels. I look over and he's just sitting there like swiping like he ain't got a brain. I'm like, I'm glad that the internet has captured everyone in their own individual way.
Dopamine, man.
You got to get that dopamine somehow. So yeah, you can post it everywhere.
So let's talk about Facebook a little bit, because back in, I think, maybe January, they started cracking down on people that talk about beer and stuff like that, saying we're going to affect we won't.
I actually...
We all
guys
got
have-
shadow banned.
Yeah, we did too. We got the shadow ban, said you're no longer da-da-da, and I'm like, we had to appeal it. We had to get in there and say, how is this like a thing? We're a business.
It's like paid
da-da-da-da-da.
ads too. I know we were
Yeah.
running paid ads, and it was like all of a sudden our paid ads are getting rejected. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're not allowed to advertise on the, like we just mentioned, the only place that we can advertise.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your style.
Hi. What's your name?
People can't see what's happening right now, but I think
Alex is talented.
this bottle just got happy.
What are we drinking, Alex?
Look, the bottle.
I don't pick the name. It's Dark Sorcery, a Belgian strong ale, dark strong.
Wes, do you need a glass?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get one.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Do I need to pause a second?
If you want to. I mean,
Yep. Hey, we're back. We had to get some refills, and then we went on a banner off air. So we're back. So recently, I talked about the good, and they're now one of the issues in craft right now is things closing, and Fig Leaf which been around close to 10 years now.
Oh yeah, at
Something-
least.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when like the Dayton Passport started. They were like one of the OGs on that passport.
I know they sold to March 1st in 2019. They were around at least 4 years before that.
And I think
Since-
March 1st was the second buyout after the original owners left.
What do you mean?
I think another group of people.
No.
No? So
No.
it's just
It
the
was,
one transition?
Yeah, it was one transition. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get on my high horse about it and tell everyone that the craft beer isn't what it used to be. I'm 100% right, by the way. But I think that's just another closure and another symptom of not being craft. And when I say that, I don't want to listen. The last thing I'm doing is pointing a finger at the owners and founders of Fig Leaf. I think what they did was a fantastic product.
Yeah. For sure.
The people coming together, that brewing system that they had in there, the bartenders that they had in there was phenomenal.
The product coming out was
and
amazing.
I don't want to make it sound like I hate that they sold out, because that's just business, right? Like it is what it is. I'm right there with you. But once they sold out to March 1st, it was never the same.
No.
Beers go downhill. All of a sudden, the bottom line becomes a priority. That's what happens when you get accountants involved in a craft beer process, right?
That's what happens when you get a conglomerate that owns 2 or 3 breweries in the distillery. Like, that is the corporate world. Like, that's what we saw the 50s, the 60s, the 70s in the food industry and the beer industry. Consolidation, bottom line over quality. I want customers.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we end up with pale flavorless beer, because I want all the customers. So what do I got to do? I remove the flavor. I make the most.
I mean, we can
flavorless
sit
thing
here and talk
possible.
about Fig Leaf, but shit, like 3 years ago, we had a much worse case happen to Platform.
Yeah.
You guys remember Platform? Yeah, they don't exist anymore.
Elevator.
It's like, just show me a Goose Island beer that was as good as it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You guys remember Wicked Weed? They were all the hype until they
AB
got
bought
bought.
them. Yep.
Well, so all those places we just named, not craft.
Well, and the other thing is, you know, I don't know how much you see it in your tap room, but I got a lot of it in here, is people doing the ale trail talking about how the beers went downhill. All of a sudden it's half of it's seltzer. Well, why? Because seltzer is bottom line. That's profit.
Yep.
And people started asking me, you know, what does it mean they've got a 1 next to everything on the board? Well, that's a March 1st recipe, not a Fig Leaf. So all the Fig Leaf recipes disappeared.
And there might be, and I was thinking about this the other day, I think a lot of the issue with, I think it was right before they actually sold out to March 1st, they went with the distributor and then came back. They tried to bring everything back from the distributor.
Yep.
And the distributor now owns all the original brands that Fig Leaf was kind of known for. And hell, Basmati,
Yep.
Honduras Porter, Ales Brewing's Brown Ale. Like, their Isotrope was some fantastic beers that all of a sudden just went up and walked away. And that was completely due to distributor.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the distributor owns your products, you're not allowed to make them anymore. And I'm like, fuck it. No. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the list of reasons that they're not around anymore is long. The list of reasons that a lot of breweries aren't around anymore is probably pretty similar to that one.
That people who, back to our earlier conversation, I found that some of the breweries that have closed, or owners that have sold in the region, they don't understand the business. And we're not in a fledgling industry anymore. We're in a mature industry. The days of 20% growth year after year aren't a thing. You have to understand your books. You have to understand that brewing is like 5% of what you're doing. You're running a business. If you're the business, or if you're the brewer, that's all you're doing. Alex, must be nice. Although you came from a situation
I'm the brewer.
where recently, and I don't know if you can talk about it or not, but one of the things that I've had conversations with past owners in the Dayton area who have sold, you know, they hadn't changed their prices in 10 years. They didn't understand. You can't get away with a $5 pint anymore. Sorry, not sorry.
Most customers like it.
Customers like it, but they're only going to like it for as long as the brewery can keep making it, and that ain't very long. That's you know, the $3 and the $4 pints. That's a scale thing, and you don't get that. We don't get those prices on anything. We don't get those prices on cans. We don't get even your Warped Wings and your Third Eyes don't get good volume pricing, unless they have a lot of ins and know how to negotiate with someone. And even then, it's not anywhere near what the big guys are doing. And so what I was seeing is a lot of people who got away with having a brewery for the 10 years prior because they were basically printing money. But once it became a mature industry, and I'm not saying a crowded industry, but a mature industry, they didn't understand the back end of things, and they found themselves underwater, and it was time to get out. So I think you see that just as much as anything else.
Yeah, no, I'll say there's a lot of people that opened breweries 10 years ago that did it with their retirement because they thought it was a cool hobby. And if you bought stainless steel sometime maybe in the past 5 years, you're probably not doing real great right now.
No.
There's a brand new brewery. Fuck it, we'll talk about them too. Was it Shipcast? Shipcast Brewing is going into downtown
Slipcast.
Franklin. Slipcast, like a boat. All right, I got you.
No, it has something to do with the internet, I think. They got a little electric light bulb or something like that.
Well, they need to go with the boat thing because that's better. But at downtown Franklin, building out from the ground. And let me tell you, there's no lack of empty buildings in downtown Franklin.
No.
You could have any of those and shove a brewery in about 2 minutes, but they are building from the ground up on government-provided land, spending, I hear, in the range of $5 to $6 million. I don't know if that includes the brew house. So help me God, I hope they're finding it used.
The last time I looked at their stuff, they still had a job posting up for a head brewer that they want to pay.
They still do.
Like $60,000 a year, and I'm like, so you're doing a $5 million brewery minimum. You're planning to be open in the spring. You don't have a brewery yet.
Oh, they plan to be open like 2 springs ago.
And I'm like, you need to have a brewer right now, but also, like, I think you're overestimating.
That's a lot of $5, $7 pints.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a lot of pints to pay for that.
And that doesn't even count the kitchen.
I mean, we could compare them to Fig Leaf right now. In the year of 2026, they could open up, have awesome bartenders, make great beer, and it's still not work because of that overhead that they've taken on.
Yeah.
And that might be the next brewery to sell out, and then we're gonna have an empty building that used to make beer in downtown Franklin.
We had a brewery in Miamisburg that was a lot of money that went into it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever had the business to pay for the overhead. I think that's the real reason they closed up.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, Miamisburg too. That's tough to not have the business there.
Yeah.
But beer is not printing money.
No.
You gotta, and it's the same thing like we were talking about with Hops and the Hangar, right? Like, people aren't going to the beer festival. You gotta give them something else. You gotta give them entertainment to go to. People aren't going to the brewery. I know that. There's days I sit around and I'm bored because we don't have anything going on.
Yeah.
People, when you have in live music, I brought in cows before and the place has been packed. I gotta have bingo going on, gotta have trivia going on. You gotta have stuff going on all the time.
I mean, it's turned into, you're more of an event planner to fill your tap room.
Yeah.
Like, we have euchre nights, we have, one-shot D&D nights because we're big into the board games. Movie nights, hey, bring your family out. It's still, even with us both having food, having a specialty food truck out, like a Naughty Lobster, like, that'll blow your day up. But there has to be something going on. Or, we have the open air markets on second Sunday. We have huge Sundays. The rest of the Sundays, they're a crapshoot. I could have a good Sunday. I could have a Sunday where I spend the day cleaning my stainless because nothing's going on. But the one thing is, if there's an event going on, then we see people. Whether we put it on, Wes puts it on. I get a lot of, like, when Wes has events, I get a lot of people to come over and say, oh, I was just at the Little Cows, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure when we have stuff that he gets the same or whatnot. But anymore, like, unless you've got events going on, people just aren't going to the tap rooms. So, again, the business side of things, you can make the best beer in the world, but if you don't understand what is required to get butts in seats, it's not going to happen. Alex, you got people for that too, right?
We got a few people. But I mean, I agree with you though, right? Like, the buzzword in the industry lately has been hospitality, right? It's how do we fulfill our role as a hospitality in the community? And the days of, I've got beer on tap that's going to be good enough are gone. Especially in Southwest Ohio, where we have this, we're so spoiled with breweries that are making great beer across the board that like the days of just being like, yeah, come have a drink, those are done. We've got to fight to get people in tap rooms, and find out kind of what your niche is to get those people into those tap rooms. 'Cause, I think if you look at a lot of people that are opening places 10 years ago, the idea was like get big fast, get into distribution, you'll be okay. That's not a thing anymore.
No.
That's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, I think the super. I always look at Woolly Pig. I think Kevin has done amazing.
Yep.
I think the super hyper local. I do something special. I'm not chasing trends. Like people drive to the middle of bumfuck Ohio and Coshocton to go drink Kevin's beer. He does amazing beer. He's probably one of the top in the state, and it's pretty much all word of mouth. But that is exactly why you won't find a hazy IPA here on tap. Like that's what I've set out to do. Is like I'm not going to chase trends.
You can come to New Ales and get a hazy IPA in Middletown. I make the hazy IPAs in this city.
But he doesn't make any cask beer, so
That's true. I do know. That's Dan's. If you want cask beer, you go to come see Dan.
But that's, to be fair, that's what I tell people. I'm like, if they come in, they're like, hey, do you have a hazy or do you have a sour? It's not really what I do. We do traditional English, German, pre-prohibition stuff in here. You want some really good sours, hazies? 2 minutes away is Wes, right? You have to look at that. People are always like, oh, when are you going to be in Kroger? Never. Distributions, it's pennies on the dollar. You got to be a Warp or a Third Eye.
You gotta have a lot of production.
Big new distribution deal there.
Gotta have a lot of production, or pay somebody else for your production. Either way. Hey, well, I'm the only one in here that doesn't co-man, so don't look at that's between you two.
No, right? I think there is. I've come from the world where I was making a barrel at a time for a while, and then I've been at the 8,000 barrels a year range, and now Third Eye doing kind of 6,000 to 7,000 a year. I think there are ways to find how I'm going to attract people into my tap room in Sharonville are different than you guys, but I think where we get lost sometimes as breweries is not understanding that my attraction is different than your attraction, and understanding that you guys don't need to be me, right? I think there are so many people that get in trying to chase one of those things, not understanding what their actual region, clientele, setup is made for.
Read the crowd.
Yeah. So it's like, right, we do events at our place and we do things like that, but like in Sharonville, we've got the convention center right across the street. We got a lot of people coming in because we win awards, right? If you're in Cincinnati and for travel, you're like, oh, hey, where am I stopping? Like we get a lot of that stuff. Like I get that, you guys necessarily don't have convention centers right across the street from you guys. You don't have people there like, oh, Gravel Road's a destination brewery. It should be if you like, pre-prohibition stuff. But it's understanding who you are and what niche you fill. If you understand that, you'll be okay. It's when you come in and you try to say like, hey, let me change this niche that exists. That's not happening.
No.
Because what would you say most Middletown people are wanting?
Mick Ultra.
A better local government.
I meant beer-wise.
Thriving downtown.
Shit, beer-wise.
There's no bitterness there.
I tell you what, I have a lot of customers that I'd say our median age is probably 55, 65. Ton of customers that kind of grew up with craft beer in one way or another, with Boston beer, with Dogfish Head. They want to see innovation, but they still will drink a copper-colored IPA any day of the week.
Yeah. I get a lot of. My customer base, I think, is probably in that 40 to 50. The majority of them, anyways. They'll definitely drink the stuff like the beet ales and the pumpkin beers and the hazy sparkle unicorn farts milkshake beer, whatever it is. Not making that here, by the way.
I'll make it.
But
You're gonna have mustard in it too.
yeah, right.
Don't tempt me.
But there's also and I think this is something I started to see like 6-7 years ago, is there is an overwhelming urge to have, I guess, what people are calling is beer flavored beer, right? And I think that's speaking to a little bit of consumer palate tiredness. They're a little bit tired of everything being something new, hazy, chunky, whatever. Also, probably the biggest thing I hear is when I tell them I have a traditional English IPA, they're like, "Oh, I can't have an IPA. I got to drive." Dude, it's 5%. They're like, "What? You can have a 5% IPA?" So this was something I started to see, like I said, 5-7 years ago. People are starting to look more for what we as craft brewers call session beers, which is the rest of the world. Like in England, you're not going to get a beer over 5% is strong, right? 3.8 to 4.5 is like normal. And I'm starting to see people that want something that when they are out, they can have 4 or 5 while they're playing a game of pool, while they're conversating, and not have to worry about the rest of their night. They're still fine with having that 1 or 2 big beers. Like I'll have people that do the equivalent of zebra striping. They'll have that crimson and they'll drink something else, and then maybe they'll have the one other big one, and then they'll have the rest of the night the easier drinking stuff. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of. But also, to be fair, again, my specialty, what I do is kind of those traditional styles anyway, so that's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a bias, but you know, the people that come here more often that I interact with more are going to be the people that gravitate towards that, versus Wes is more on the experimental side. You haven't done a horseradish beer yet.
No, but don't be spoiling things, man.
But you know, I mean, but even he has got like his Post Malone.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're easy. So we both recognize that we have the easy drinkers and stuff like that. So, but I know.
That name? You like that name? Post Malone? Yeah.
But
I can see you chuckle a little bit.
I just released an ultralight lager, and it's already my #1 seller. It's stupid. Right behind the English IPA. Like within 2 weeks, like I'm blowing through it. So I think there is the crispy lager trend is there, the lower ABV trend is there, but at least in this area, and we're a working class community, we're blue collar, and so I think that also contributes to that.
I'm just going to brew what I want, and people can drink it, or they can not drink it.
So not hungry for money.
Dan was talking about, you know, how you got to like really be into like the financial side of things if you're a business owner, and that really didn't hit home for me. I just make beer.
Like I think one thing's, if we go way back in episodes to the Cincinnati panel last year, our kind of key word for the day was maturation. The market's maturing, and for years now I've been telling people that we really need to be looking to Europe for kind of what their beer traditions are, because our beer traditions here in the U.S. are in such an infancy.
Yes. Well, we need to write Hunstable. Well, for sure. No, you're laughing, but
oh, don't worry. I gave a talk for Cincinnati Beer Week a couple years ago at Fibonacci, where it's like it was titled "Rank High School About What Is It, Why It Matters, and Why We Should Break It."
Because the beverage industry, which was my background, is creeping over into beer industry way too much.
So the other thing is in terms of beer, we've never really had an American beverage tradition until the invention of craft beer. It was Dutch, and then it was British, and then it was German.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even in everybody goes, well, you know, with Budweiser, all that. That's German beer styles. We don't really have our own until
it's just
the advent of craft beer.
You know,
we were only 30 years into
beer,
this.
and then we went to White Claws, and now Truly's, and now Truly decided to go out of business, so now they rebranded to Sun Cruiser, and we keep trying to do this thing where if you're Coca-Cola, if you're Pepsi, if you're Gatorade, whatever, you made water and put flavoring in it. And that is creeped over into craft beer so much that it has taken over a lot of breweries, and it's not craft. It's not craft at all. You're not making a craft product. You should be ashamed of yourself. And that's why I will straight up sit here and say that we like the Germans have with Reinheitsgebot, we need to have something that just says like, look, if you're going to make a craft product and you're going to call it craft beer, almost like our label approval that we go through, or with TTB and whatnot, like, what are the ingredients for your beer? Does it involve pumping blue chemical out of a drum like this? Fucking sitting there pumping your shit into the tank. Oh, then you mix it up. That's not craft.
No.
In no way should you be allowed to call it that. It's almost like champagne.
You just drank what?
Beet
Yeah.
red. Oh, yeah.
No coloring. That's
Yeah.
it's beets. Like it's 100 pounds of beets. I know there's a local brewery. The owner is full of himself. Literally has pasted on his wall, no artificial flavorings, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
But I mean, that is something that I take to heart. Everything's 100% malt grains. Yep. If I say there's beets in it, there's beets in it. We take pictures of it. I'm not using extracts.
We make beer, not your
Yeah.
shitty carbonated bottom line water.
Even my lightest beer is still 100% malt.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not dumping sugar in there unless by style.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, I'm doing a Belgian triple. You know what? Traditional way to make a Belgian triple, Belgian candy sugar. That's how you did it. But that's different than saying, oh, I need this beer to be X. I'm going to dump a bunch of malt extracts and sugars in it to get it to X.
There's a difference between, I want this beer to be a little bit drier. Let's put some candy or sugar in it. And I need this beer to hit the ABV.
Right.
Well, let's put some sugar in
Or
it.
I said it has this in it, so I need to put this food coloring in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Caramel color found its way into like every beer in the last like 10 years.
Not the last 10, man.
Not
You
on
go all the
a
way back
craft
to
level.
London,
Well,
England.
not on a craft level so much, but on a major producer level.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, caramel color. I'm like artificial flavoring
Oh,
showing
you don't
up.
put corn syrup in it?
Do what?
I'm kidding.
Oh well, only high fructose. That's the good shit. That gives you that
Only
diabetes.
freshly squeezed.
But I think one of the things kind of you brought up a little bit is one of the reasons why it's hard to really, rein in the market, rein in the industry a little bit is how do we define craft, right?
Right.
And I think that, to pull a little bit from Dave Nielsen in the chocolate world, one of the things he talks about a lot in that world is the idea of intentionality, right? Is that what defines craft? Like, what is your intentionality when you're making this thing?
Right.
Which I think that is probably what does define craft, but then how do you make that on paper definable?
Right.
Because I can't be like, oh, that wasn't intentional. Well, why isn't it intentional?
Innovation
right?
for innovation's sake, or innovation because I'm trying to do something interesting and
Yeah,
unique?
because I could almost see you making I'll take my own words and make the argument that like Equilibrium out of New York isn't really craft because they're using every hop extract you could possibly imagine to make an IPA hazier and juicier but they're trying to do something that's unique and different enough that it is craft.
Well, I think the interesting thing there is what's the intention behind it?
Right.
Are you just doing this so that you can then slap all of this on an advertisement and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, he made this thing with this, and this? Or are you legitimately trying to do something and you go, you know what? If it sells, it sells. It doesn't sell, but I want to try and create this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that intention, like that's the problem that we have in today's market, and it's not just in beer. To quote Jurassic Park, just because we could doesn't mean we should. So intention for intent, or innovation for innovation's sake, or innovation for the sake of just making another dime. So where does that definition on that spectrum? Does it stop being craft and just am I chasing the market again? Because that's where I fall into with like the seltzers. Seltzers are innovative. You make sparkling water and you chuck a bunch of flavors in that. That has nothing to do with innovating for the sake of innovation. That has to do with I can make a product that costs less than a penny per ounce, and I can sell it for $5 a pop and make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And whoop-de-ding-dong. There's not real creativity there, but you sit there and you do a beer with a 12-hour boil and use this new hop and do this and that. that's different. What are you trying to do? Well, I'm trying to create these flavors. I'm trying to do these things, but I think it exists on there's no black and white. It's on a spectrum.
No, I
right?
like the intention idea. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I make seltzers, right? But we're using real fruit.
Do you have the license for that?
We're
Or is
making
it's malt liquor?
using
It's flavored malt liquor.
using real fruit. Still no artificial flavoring because I'll die on that cross. But other than that, it's like we're still making shitty seltzer water. It's expensive
Brewer's
shitty
tears.
seltzer water, right?
Brewer's tears.
Yeah, right.
Brewer's tears. Look at Alex pulling out the big guns and making it all intellectual.
Well, I think, right, one of the arguments I make when I bring that up sometimes is the idea of like, right, we keep changing the definition on paper of what craft is based off like barrelage and things
It's
like
always about
that.
size and stuff. I'm like,
Where it's
Well,
like,
let's be fair. Some of that was changed to keep a certain two breweries within the craft.
But my
fold.
argument-
hey, if they're going to pay money in dues, they deserve to pay money.
But are they paying more or less than us? Because there's
probably the same
one in
amount.
Pennsylvania that is still considered craft, and if they're only paying like,
You mean a publicly traded company that's craft? That's weird. That's weird that I can own it and it's craft.
right?
Let me get on Robinhood real quick. Buy some of that publicly traded brewery.
Luckily, like for domestic happy hours, you're considered that, so I can get like.
right.
My question is, how many eggs are we going to have on our windows this week, Wes?
And no more than usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was going to say, like, one of the brews I bring up a lot of times when I have this intentionality debate is the idea of Dogfish Head,
Yeah.
right? Where I think they're a great example of, they're very massive, and right, they do chase the bottom line and things like that, but I think there is intentionality that still exists at Dogfish Head.
Oh, for sure.
Where like at other places, like we mentioned out of Pennsylvania, that there's no intentionality there anymore.
No,
It's a
not
bottom line. So it's like, again, it's impossible, I think, to define intentionality, but that's where we need to be looking at to chase craft is what is the intention.
Well, and you can look at, I forget when the interviews were done and where they were, but both Sam and Jim at different times have said that where the companies are now is not where they wanted them.
Right.
That they've lost by getting as big as they are.
Right.
It has allowed them to pursue some things that have been very creative, very awesome, utopia, some stuff. But at the same time, Jim, I forget where I read it, but you basically said, there's 2/3 of my portfolio I would never make, I don't want to make, but I have a board that now says
You have
bottom
to.
line is important.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm out of my company. So there's 2/3 of this portfolio of stuff where it's not innovation, it's not
I'll say
craft
that
anymore.
if you go down to the tap room for Boston beer, you're going to get a really, really good craft beer experience. The tap room that has their little like 3-barrel system or whatever they have in the back and has like one guy brewing back there. Like we've been down to the tap room in Cincinnati and had some really weird one-off beers that you're never going to find.
Reminds me of Braxton Labs.
Yeah, a little bit.
Braxton Labs was amazing, one of the biggest losses in this area.
That's where I found some of my favorite Boston beers at. But I mean, obviously they're not going to distribute it. They're not going to put it in bottles. You're never going to see it on a store shelf. It's not going to be a nationwide thing. And you can almost say the same thing about what Sam was doing at Dogfish Head, because I had a buddy of mine that worked out there. I went out there and visited a couple times, and literally he would go around the plant at 4:30 on a Friday, close people's laptops for them. Sorry, computers. They weren't issued laptops because you were not allowed to take your work home with you. And you had to stop what you were doing and go to Beer 30.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go to a Beer 30 or two, and people were bringing dogs in. All of a sudden you see the brewers come up with a keg of like what they were experimenting with. And that was that craft beer vibe. Even though you're in this big building that, beer paid for, the brewery is a quarter mile away from the packaging line.
I think Sam is probably of the big brewers, he was of our generation.
Yeah.
Probably the most innovative, and I still think he's got a finger on that. I think he's still, as much as he can, especially after the last merger.
Right.
But I think Dogfish has continued to be, for the most part,
I'll say
truly
this,
innovative.
that Dogfish and Boston Beer are making craft beer at a better rate than a lot of craft breweries.
Yes. But also something you said there, you're talking about the 3-barrel system there and stuff you can't get anywhere else. And that's kind of where myself and shout out to the people behind the scenes who help me with things. I love you all. I'm sorry I can't pay you as much or anything. But that is one of the things that we are trying to figure out how to communicate to the crowd is like, just because there's not an event here, where else are you going to get this experience? Where else are you going to get this beer? You know, like your mustard beer. Where else are you going to get a mustard lager? I can't tell you a mustard lager in the state of Ohio. You know, where else are you going to get a best bidder? No one else is doing a best bidder around here. Where else has a dedicated cask cellar? Where else has picked something? And so I'm trying to get the people to look at not just the entertainment factor, what else do you have to offer? Maybe the what else you have to offer for all you guys out there is the fact that a lot of us smaller people are doing things that you can't get anywhere else.
I mean, I go back to my days at Fibonacci, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was putting stuff out that you will not find anywhere else, probably in the country. And it's like, right, if you want to see this, you've got to come to
There's a very
Mount Healthy,
specific
Ohio.
brown ale that you did that you either need to do a small batch of it and bring me some because I never got any, or we're going to have to recreate it.
Deal.
Sweet.
Because
I think that would be good in
Because when
cask.
I look at, because going back to Fig Leaf for a little bit here, when March first bought them, because originally during that same time period they bought, I keep pulling the blank on what other brewery.
Woodburn. Yep.
Woodburn. I was like, maybe they're just trying to save those brands and trying to keep them going.
No.
But also at the same time, you look at up where I'm at in Troy, Ohio, around the same time period, Moeller Brew Barn just came into Troy, and when they were brewing,
How's that
I'm
going?
not sure how much they brewed in Troy, but whatever they made compared to what they ended with were completely different beers. Then all of a sudden, Dayton came up. They were brewing Dayton now. Then all of a sudden, they bought down in Monroe.
If you have money and you want to get into the brewing industry, you're going to do a shitty job of it. Just don't do it.
We saw that in the 90s. Though.
You gotta be poor as fuck if you want to brew beer, all right? Because then you'll make some good beer. If you got like, I don't know, like a whole construction company behind you and a shitload of money, and like you're like the only people in the county that anyone hires to do anything, you're like, let me open 5 locations really quick. That's really dumb. You
Were
shouldn't
they
do that.
trying to get Anheuser's attention? Is that part of it, like Anheuser or some?
I don't know that he was trying to get Anheuser's attention. I feel more like
If that's your goal, that's not crap.
Yeah.
That's a poor intention. That's a bad intention.
That's
What are you,
a
mango
get
cart?
rich. That's
Like
a
what?
get rich scheme. Like, hey, I'm gonna make something really awesome, and I want bought out really quick. I feel like that situation with Bowler is, I want to be the next Rheingeist. I want to be the next Warped Wing. But I've got the money that they didn't have, so
I'll do it better.
I'm going to do it quicker. I'm not going to put the 10 years in. Like, everybody forgets, Warped has put in over 10 years. They're like, oh, they're big. They have 4 locations. They put 10 years of hard work and lots of money. And I know that there are times where it was probably touch and go. Same thing with Rheingeist. They didn't start off big. They got big. Can you have another Rheingeist? Like Alex said, I think that time is gone for most people.
Yeah.
It'll be a special story if it is. But I think Moeller was a situation where someone wanted to be in that league.
And they paid all the money to do it.
And paid the money to get
it
the
didn't
done
work
stuff.
because you didn't earn it.
Because they didn't earn it. They didn't have the product. They didn't have the product recognition. So when you buy it, you have that place down in Monroe.
You want to talk about companies pumping artificial flavors into their products? That's the one. One of the many. But that was some shit beer. Sorry about everyone that's listening to this from Maria Stein, because your farms are awesome, but your beer is garbage. And there's a reason that they did not keep the 18 locations that they had.
Well, in Monroe, let's be fair. That's a huge brewery. You're either losing money on that because you're producing every day at capacity and you have no outlet,
I'm
or
shocked
you're
that
losing money
no
because
one
you're
has
not.
turned that into something. That brewery
I
is.
heard that's going to be a car dealership.
Yeah, you just got bought.
That sucks.
Hey, but there's some equipment down there we can go.
Oh, there's a lot of
go for.
equipment. That dude got a centrifuge. I mean, he got all kinds of stuff.
with the
in there.
bulldog.
I mean, it's just
Maybe a couple cart
it's someone
pumps.
coming into the industry and thinking it's pay to play.
Yeah.
When
But that's
you're missing the whole
that
craft
was
Intentionality.
Yeah.
Well,
We've come full circle.
and if you know your craft beer history, you know, we had the 80s, we had a lot of good craft beer. There was no supporting industry, but we still had your Sierra Nevadas come out of it. You know, we had Jack McAuliffe, those places that came out for as little time as they were there or not there. But in the 90s, we had a lot of pay-to-play people, and craft as a whole suffered from a quality issue. Because it was, I'm seeing how much money these people are making, I'm going to start a brewery, and then, you know, people up and screwed off and said, well, craft beer is awful. Well, because you had 80% of the people in here were people with money pay to play, making them inferior
sounds
product.
really familiar to where we're at now.
I think we're getting back to that point.
Because I could tell you right now that there's a lot of people that probably are getting into craft beer or trying craft beer for the first time and are going to one of, I don't know, 13 places I could name and getting a shitty experience and then saying, craft beer's not for me. I'm never going back to another brewery. Because the first brewery they went to shouldn't have been brewing beer.
No.
I think not only from a production quality standpoint, but I think from how craft beer has sold itself for the last, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years. Style-wise, we've hurt ourselves so bad, right? Because how many people out there think that craft beer is only hazy IPA or only West Coast IPA when there's this massive range of beer, right? You know, going from, you know, great Belgian wild sours over to crazy West Coast stuff, to great, you know, Kentucky Commons, American lagers, things like that. Like, there's this massive profile, but if you speak to the typical non-craft beer
that's
consumer,
what the meme is on Facebook,
right?
is the IPAs.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, oh, it's IPA, right? And I think I'm gonna butcher these numbers, but the BA a couple years ago did a survey and basically looked at people who are of drinking age who consume alcohol, who say that they don't like craft beer. They asked them to name a flavor profile of craft beer at all.
IPA.
And they couldn't. Like, they didn't. So it's not that they dislike it.
Right.
They just didn't know it because their entry into it, they were told, was IPA and it's bitter and it's nasty. Well, why don't you come have this English brown and see what it's like? Right?
I feel like it's bringing us full circle again.
Well,
we got to go back to advertising. It's like, well, how do you get the word out? Like, how do you get someone new into your tap room and give them something that's not a New England IPA? It's like, well, do I put it on Facebook?
Well, there's also an element that's been lost, and I think this has been addressed in multiple different ways over different subjects, but it's a conversation I've had with David Nilsson before, is that at some point, craft beer became pretentious. And it ceased to be about the hospitality and the customer interaction and customer education. You like American lagers? Here's American lager. Well, that's got a lot of flavor. That's the difference between mass-produced and craft. You can have a Bud-like beer that tastes really good, and it doesn't have to be an IPA. Not everything has to be, you know, Yeti gym sock smelling crotch rot, whatever that IPA guy is on. Yeah, you're laughing. You watch him too. And I have seen this myself going into craft beer places, and the bartenders are very snotty, or the people are very snotty, and I'm looking at them going, if only you knew what I do for a living, you wouldn't be talking to me like this and treating me like I'm stupid. Like, I'm not asking for an IPA because I know there's other stuff out there. Like, you can have a well-crafted craft lager. It doesn't have to be IPA. Like you said, it could be a brown, it could be a Kentucky Common, it could be a Belgian style, whether it's the monastic tradition or the wild ferment tradition. There's so much out. Even Japanese rice lagers are having their day right now. And, you know, if you ever drink an Asahi Extra Dry, it ain't much different than a Coors Light, but you can go out and get some really flavorful Japanese rice lagers right now, and they're not aggressive and you know, all that
Interesting
IPA stuff.
thought I just had.
Oh God, I knew I smelled something burning.
I agree with you completely, and I'll say look at Etsy, the online shopping place that's supposed to be like handmade crafts, right? 6 years ago, you could go on Etsy and find stuff that people were making in their garage, right? Woodworking.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
People found
CNC routers became cheaper.
Yeah.
Laser engravers became cheaper.
3D printers.
Now, if you get on Etsy, it's just more shit. It's another market for shit that's not really handmade.
I downloaded this thing in the
feel
CNC
like
router.
There's a little bit of crossover between that and craft beer.
I mean, we didn't
to
all
the
have a
point
failure of
where-
an AI brewery in Columbus.
Well, like so.
Oops.
Sabco's got cheaper. All of a sudden, brewing equipment, stainless steel, everyone that started homebrewing, to the point where all of a sudden the beers that are being produced weren't having the light shined on them as much.
Yeah.
It's kind of that we can take craft beer and similar, like it's very similar marketplace to crafts, right? The handmade stuff that people were making, gone because of cheaper equipment, better processes. The handmade stuff that people were making, like you mentioned Sierra Nevada earlier, I know they started with milk tanks
Yeah.
because they had to.
That was
Now you
Kane's
got
graduate
guys
project.
that are cashing out a 401k and buying some stainless steel used. It's top of the line equipment that they don't know what they're doing with it.
Well,
and you're
that-
getting the same product out of every
that
single place.
also goes. That's a great callback all the way back to the beginning of the conversation. We talked about things that homebrewers don't know, right? Like so many of them make stuff, but they don't understand how the equipment works, how the equipment functions. They just know if I put A in, I get B out. So when there's a problem in production, it's super hard for them to figure it out. Like I came up having to figure all that stuff out. Alex came up having. You did the same thing. You had to help build a brewery at one point. Aside from your own.
Stop it, you bring back flashbacks.
Right? So, when you go out and you say, I'm going to buy this sports, I could go buy the Lamborghini. Doesn't mean I can drive the Lamborghini, right? I might be able to, but I'm going to suck. I'm going to drop the I'm going to be like that guy famously 2 years ago who dropped the Hellcat transmission out on the drag strip with only like 100 miles on it. So there's that point. Like, just because you can buy the stuff and just because if I do A, B, and C, I make 152 degrees, I put this in here, doesn't mean you can make a good product. You can have all the toys in the world, but the intent and the skill behind it and the knowledge required still.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite questions, and this is kind of coming from John, is why, right? We'd write a recipe or we'd do something like why?
Yeah.
All day long, because you have to understand what you're doing, right? I can't just be like A plus B equals C. I gotta understand, well, A is doing this thing so that when you accompany B with A plus B gets to C.
Yeah.
Not just this.
I read on the internet that I should have A and B, but why?
Yeah.
Well, because the internet said, okay,
guy
but
on
do you
YouTube
understand what
told me how
A and B is doing, right? Yeah. He still does that to me. Regular basis. I love you, John.
You still talking about recipes with them?
Hags. No, I talk about everything with him. Great resource. Really, honestly.
I tell people all the time I'm so happy I came up under him. I call it the Hackney School of Hard Knocks.
Right.
But it was a great learning experience.
Well, that why is very Socratic, right?
Yep.
Like you think he's being hard on you, but he's
It's
really
Socratic method, 100%.
He's really. Can you tell me why? And if you can, you better be able to come back tomorrow and actually show me that you understand what you're doing. I'm not going to give you the answer. I'll let you know when you're right.
See, the only craft brewery I worked for crashed and burned, so I learned everything what you shouldn't do.
And he opened his own brewery.
I think
guys.
they're still hanging on in Centerville.
Wow. Call that hanging on.
I didn't realize they were still open.
Yeah, they're still open, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oops.
Their equipment's still downtown Dayton.
The downtown location is still for sale, I think. With all the entire brewery in it.
There you go, Dan. Gravel Road 2.
No.
Come on, man. You'd be right
Fuck
outside the
no.
Dragon Stadium. That'd be great.
Fuck no. No, because honestly, people have asked me that. Someone actually said, why don't you move? And I'm like, it's the antithesis of what I want to do. Hey, I actually, honestly, when I came to downtown Middletown, they were on an upswing. We were still in the Riverway project. By the way, City of Middletown, get your ass back in that. But, I think the downtown has a lot of potential. I see a lot of really good stores that we have right now that we're going on. We've got coffee shops, boutiques, For better or worse, Wes is here with his artificial flavor-free beer.
New England IPA.
Lester beer.
But
Sours.
the
good shit.
Again, my goal has never been to be the Third Eye. My goal has never been to be Warped Wing. I have a very specific thing that I like to do, that I enjoy doing. It plays into my history background. And I've always, like I said, looked to Woolly Pig. I want to be that hyper-local. I work with the community a lot. We do lots of events with the community, different organizations. But also, I want to be that place where people will travel to because no one else is doing certain things. And again, a lot of the beers that I'm doing, I had a guy drive 4 hours to get an Untapped stamp because I was the only person in 3 states that had that beer. That's what I want. I want people to know the craft that I'm doing is valuable and worth the drive, and that's how I differentiate myself, and that's why I won't chase trends. Because I think at this size, so many people are like, oh, you need to have a seltzer, you need to have this. But I think once you do that, you lose your identity. And if you lose your identity, then what's the reason to come here? If it's IPAs, why would anybody drive from Dayton down here? You've got 15 breweries that do excellent IPAs.
7.
7 by Wes, 15 by me.
I'm a harsh critic. I don't know what to tell you. I think my beer sucks too, so I don't know what we're doing here.
Third Eye's barrel age program is probably one of the best in the region, if not the best in the region. I'm really not interested in barrel age stuff. I got 1 barrel back there.
What if I gave you a Spice Belgian wine barrel aged beer?
I mean, I would drink it.
If you make the barrel
Hey,
out of
I did
stainless
see
steel,
gnarly
then
eyes.
weigh it.
I'm interested in drinking them. I'm not interested in making them.
Did you see Gnarly's request?
Yeah, Gnarly wants us to do a barrel aged meat stout.
Oh,
I mean, I think it'd be pretty good actually.
pork barrel.
I wouldn't do it in a round barrel.
I like a wooden barrel.
A dark round barrel.
I like barrels made
Dark
of
rum or
cellulose.
port and red meat?
Why not both?
Okay. Well, shit. I feel a project coming on. But yeah. Talk to me afterwards, Alex.
All right. So one of the other things we were talking about, people that got in now. I noticed, like in Dayton, like we've seen breweries go out, but luckily,
Sojourners suck. Worst beer ever.
no. But somehow, some way, some of those places that get new life. Is that like something you like seeing in Dayton? Like
You mean like a pinball garage or what?
Like,
No,
I'll just say like Bach Family
Bach
got
Family.
changed.
I haven't been there since the new owners took over.
The two in Miamisburg got renamed.
To go from
Yeah, because they both got new owners too.
Yeah, to go from Sojourners, which if any of you was there, I'm sorry, you should ask for a refund. Literally the only time
See, it's not just me.
the only time in my life where every brewer did not drink their beer. But Jen and Ian came in, God love them. I know what they went through. They really turned that place around, and they created an identity, and they created something that was loved. I was sad to see them go, but I was happy to see that it was a 1-for-1 trade. Like we lost her, like it was net zero. Actually, I would say it was a +1 because we gained some place that was worth going to versus a place that was exactly what Wes has talked about. Someone who had no business being in it, was just in it to make the money, was doing terrible stuff.
I was just sad that I never tried their whiskey that they were supposed to make.
No, who would Jen and Ian?
No.
Sojourners?
Yeah.
No, you're not sad you didn't try it, trust me.
There was no still in that building. Who's making whiskey?
They were supposed to be.
He was distilling without a license.
Well, I mean, everyone has a pressure.
I think Peerless Mill.
What do you do with your old
see
beer?
how that moves forward. The new owner, Chris, he's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of dreams.
Whoa. Easy there. We just had this conversation.
I think he's doing. The building looks beautiful.
Yeah. I'm sure he's putting a lot of money into it. Like, you want to go? That's next podcast. The basement of that brewery. We just set up, start drinking beers, and we'll just honest opinion. Let's do it.
Because
Because let me tell you this: there's nowhere to go but up. For the entire city of Miamisburg, that includes Lucky Star because they're making shit too.
I've
The
never
best
rated Lucky
brewery in
Star.
Miamisburg is the one that closed. How does that make sense?
Entropy.
Yes.
I've never drank a Lucky Star.
You're
Before or
not
after.
missing anything. everything. Let me tell you that. They have great margaritas,
Their food was good.
good tacos. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, right, I do like when we do see kind of these 1-for-1s, because when we stop seeing 1-for-1s,
It's a problem.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right, because it means that no one else is still trying. And you hear this idea of like saturation in the markets. I don't think we're saturated. I think the maturation has weeded out some things.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's not saturation. As we talk about this idea of these local, hyper-focused, community-oriented European pub model style places, I think there's still place for a lot of these places. So as long as we're still getting 1-for-1s, I think we're in a good spot.
Well, and you said something interesting there, like not saturated. Everybody keeps talking about the craft beer bubble and saturation, but if we take a look at this historically, in the 1880s, this country had 5,000 breweries. We're just now at 10,000. So in 1880, we had more breweries per capita than we do right now, and they had no problem surviving. Dayton alone in that time frame had like 20 breweries. It's just now at roughly 20 breweries. So per capita, again, we're not saturated.
Right, and I just think that's the argument to stay small, stay local.
Yeah.
You're
well,
be
that's,
the pub. You know?
So that's the other thing. I've never called craft beer a revolution. It's a renaissance. It's going back to the business model that existed before the homogenization of beer and the industrialization of beer post 1950.
Yeah, I mean, right, everyone talks like, oh my gosh, like Rheingeist is doing 700,000 barrels. Yeah, Moorline was doing like 500,000 a year.
Yeah. Like, you look at
the cellars below Cincinnati were used for something. There's a lot of them,
but you didn't have any giant national brands.
Right.
It was,
so what changed was logistics.
Right.
You could ship everything from St. Louis.
Yeah. You had at best you had regional powerhouses, which would be Rheingeist, but outside of a certain area, you couldn't get them. Up in New York, it was Peels. You just couldn't get Peels down here, Hootapole, etc.
Shit.
But I think the maturation is the important thing, because that's the business running, right? That's understanding that I can't get away with the $5 pint anymore because I'm not selling such a huge volume that my profits don't matter. Plus, post-COVID, all of our expenses are up. Gas is up, shipping is up. I mean, I had a $200 freaking order from BSG turn into $400 by the time I got done with shipping, dunnage, tariffs, and everything else. Like, you have to be smart about your business, otherwise you're not going to survive. And that's part of the maturation. You're getting people who are understanding it's no longer just making good beer. I have to be able to run the entire business. Well, that's just
I think that to your point, like the maturation is hitting the people that don't pay attention to the bottom line as much as they should.
Yeah.
Maturation is hitting people equally that don't pay attention to the quality as much as they should.
Yeah, because I can name a few breweries that cut some corners on dropping. I'm trying to be much nicer. I haven't had as much as you. I don't know what you had before you got here. Now we can get the bourbon bottles out and see where this goes.
Now we're throwing around speculation. Wes is drunk? What? This is me normally, all right?
But what happened? Do you have the wherewithal as a producer that if someone says, I need this beer now, you say, I'm sorry, no, you have to wait another week? Or do you kick it out anyways and say, all right, here it is, even though you know it shouldn't be? Whether it's in-house or going out of house, and I have seen that. I have seen stuff that shouldn't go out.
What do you mean we shouldn't be making lagers with Boston ALDC?
Alex, go away.
Correct. We should not.
Go away.
The only lager yeast is German lager yeast. That's the only one. From Munich. That's it. If you're not using the Munich German lager yeast, you're not making a lager.
We could get into the technical definition of what a lager actually was.
Don't worry about it.
Right? It's just cold storage.
Yeah.
It's not yeast. It's cold
San
storage.
Francisco quick ale, 78 degrees fermentation lager.
Cold storage.
Yep.
That's what lagering was. That's all it was. No, but yeah, I mean,
we get it going. We'll just keep doing it.
I definitely know that
you're gonna have to just turn it off eventually. He'll just keep going and going.
Oh, it's 7 days. It's done. No, it's not.
Yeah.
They're just gonna deal with a long episode. It's fine.
In today's episode, we listened to Dan talk.
I did teach.
Say, Dan, say hello to the
School.
18 people that are still listening. How much you love them.
There were 19.
Hey, Truth Beer and Gnarly will still be listening. That's it.
Oh, dude, we love them people. Love them. Actually, Mustard Beer found its way to Nome because of Truth Beer Pod.
Stop looking at me.
No, I'm
Hey,
waiting for
you
you
were
to say
going.
something
No,
controversial.
I got nothing right now.
Nah, he's done.
I mean, we were looking at, like, I was thinking about the other day, like, because it was just my craft beer week. I went up to Hairless. They know who they are. They're not open very long. They're like Wednesday to Saturday, that's their hours. But the tap room fills. They're like Saturday, I don't get to go down to them a lot. The Fish Street Brew Pub down in
Love Fish
St. Anne.
Yep.
I finally met John. Hopefully I'm working on something with him. We'll see where
John's
this
a
goes.
great guy.
Yeah, but just those breweries you talk about that know who they are and stuff like that. It's like hopefully people can realize that and just say, hey, I'm not going to be the next Ryan Guys or something like that. Just be your community's brewery. I mean,
Right. And right, like I've for years said that like that Euro pub model is kind of the way we're going as we mature. And like I get it, like right, I don't brew at a place that's a Euro pub model style brewery. But
You did? Why'd you leave?
I did. But I think, you know, we at Third Eye, we understand who we are, right? And going back to Blake's ideas that, you know, I'm not trying to be Gravel Road. I'm not trying to be New Ales. I'm not trying to be these other things because I know the niche that we fill at Third Eye. Where, Dan, you're never going to try to be Third Eye because you don't want to be Third Eye. So as long as, you know, you go into this understanding who you are, what the opportunities are, and not being like, oh, hey, I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of money at this, and 5 years from now, I'm going to be in distribution in 24 states and be making 300,000 barrels a year. That's not a reality.
No.
And, you know, I think even if you talk to, you know, and I can't say this for certain, but I think even if you talk to the guys that started Third Eye, if you would have said, hey, do you think this is where you'd be 6 years later? I think they would have been like, well, it would be nice if we're there, but that's not what we want to, like, I don't know that that's where we're going to be. But I think as we grew and we started doing what we were doing, I think it was like, oh, well, there's this niche that we can hit and we can fill it, so let's do it. So I think it just goes back to understanding who you are and what you're willing to do and fill.
It's also a component of being in the moment, not being so planned out. I'm pretty sure that if you had to sit down with Bowman and Haggerty, they never planned to be this big. In fact, Haggerty would probably be happier on a 5-barrel system.
Oh, if he could move to like Austria on a farm and just brew like 2 barrels at a time,
Hell yeah.
he would be the happiest man in the world.
But they hit a niche.
Yep.
And I'm sure there were other forces involved, and they had to be fluid in the moment, and they made decisions, and they are what they are.
I mean, right? So look at Fly Light. When I was there years ago, I was like, hey, we should probably do something that's American Light Lager and start putting that out there. Like, right, we had Trotwood, but I was like, no, we probably need to be doing something lighter. And the response was, I don't know if that's us. And then the opportunity presented itself where the University of Dayton was like, hey, can you guys do this? And they're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So they filled that niche, and now what do? They've turned Fly Light.
Yeah. I think the other one for small craft brewers, in terms of what you're talking about, is also being able to look at the overwhelming, what we feel sometimes is the overwhelming push to be something we're not, and be able to tell the customer no.
Right.
Like, sorry, no, that's not what I'm going to do because, you would do a lot better if you did this. Maybe, but it's not what I do because this guy over here does it, so that's not me.
But, right, it's like
know your identity.
That line from Hamilton, right? If you stand for nothing, what will you fall for?
Yeah.
It's just you got to know who you are, and if you're always chasing what's next or those things, eventually that will move. That what's next will move fast enough that you're going to be lost.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of being who you are.
You're going to be like a certain large company that lost $26 million on seltzers a few years ago.
Don't worry, they have a new one. They just rebranded everything. I think I mentioned it already. I already said the name of that one.
All right.
Sun Crusher? Cruiser?
I don't know, whatever it is now.
Yeah, it's
So the last thing I want to discuss, because I was just reading it the other day. So this Gen Z topic, I forget which newspaper brought this out, saying Gen Z doesn't drink has been a lie this whole time.
I saw that.
Is this so? What do you guys make of that?
What is Gen Z at this point?
So
younger than us.
that's the thing, right? So the articles early on were like, Gen Z doesn't drink. Yeah, they're not 21.
Right?
So we when we look at Gen Z, one, we have to look at what their age actually is, and then we have to look at when they were coming of age to be drinkers. It was COVID, just post-COVID. Bars weren't a thing. Like, right, all of us grew up going to bars, drinking. That's what you did when you went out.
I went to Fields drinking.
I mean, we did that too, but like, right, Gen Z, that wasn't a thing. They didn't know bars. So now all of a sudden they're like, oh, this digital life isn't really working for me. I would like to meet people. They're all of a sudden we're like, oh, bars are a thing. Like, I can go out and like interact with people and I can do these things. So what we're starting to see is that not that they weren't drinkers, is that they drink differently, right? They are open to drinking craft beer, seltzers, THC drinks, non-alcoholics. They're open to drinking everything. But they were just kind of a little slow on the take-up. So,
Well, and I think that's supported by the VA numbers that shows that over the past few years, in fact, the amount of money spent on intoxicating drinks hasn't really decreased or increased. It's just got spread out across more varieties, which is what Wes was talking about earlier. But they're just drinking different stuff, and like you said, they're picking up. I've seen some younger ones in here. I've always said they just haven't really suffered their first major life traumatic event, whether it's a financial crisis, a war, or whatnot yet. And then once they'll get there, that first red F on a paper in college, maybe, I don't know.
Whoa, paper?
Yeah, I'm that old. I wrote
What's that?
papers, Wes.
I'm conflicted on this because I see. I listen to the Gen Z. Brewbound has the Gen Z girl on there. I can't remember her name right now, but I mean, she's been on there for like 2-3 years now, talking about what her age group friends drink, where they're at drinking by the pool. Usually, it's almost never in a tap room. It's almost always like they're getting
DoorDash.
They're getting something at a convenience store, at a C-store, at Walmart, and then taking it to go, right? They're more money conscious on the, if I go to the tap room, it's going to be an extra $2 a pint, right? If I get it at Walmart, it's cheaper. So I think there's some smarts there that we're not giving them credit for. But I also think that I'll go back to, hey, my whole staff for the restaurant's heading to a music festival. Not my first year there. We go every year, and so they have these things called beat boxes. I don't know if you've been pervy to the beat box before, but let me tell you how popular they are, at least at this event. It's like, think of Juice Box Capri Sun, but like 13-14% ABV. Oh yeah, dude, and we are flying through you look around and it's nothing but Gen Z drinking these things. Does Gen Z not like alcohol? No, they love alcohol. They love alcohol just as much as every generation before them.
Just good and cost effective.
Exactly. Yep. They're taking it to go. They're taking it packaged. The only offerings they're seeing isn't really craft offerings because we're not in stores as much as Anheuser-Busch is.
Right.
And I think one thing about them too is there's not real brand loyalty, right? You look at like grandparents, parents, things like that. Right? I drink Schlitz, and I only drink Schlitz my whole life. I'll never drink anything but Schlitz. Gen Z doesn't have that brand loyalty because they've not had a brand that they've actually really trusted ever in their life.
Right.
So it's more about what the end product is, and can I enjoy the end product? I don't really care who makes it.
And drugs.
That's it.
Drugs are a thing. We're just not going to talk about drugs? All right. I'm also the local drug correspondent. So if you got any questions about,
I was just wondering what happened to our never opened dispensary down the road.
I'm sure it'll get open eventually, but I mean, there is some impact to that.
Yeah.
You can't,
Well,
no
I mean,
one can look at me and tell me that sales in alcohol isn't directly contributed to that. And I'll say it that I'm not the only one that thinks that way, because I know that there are people in the alcohol industry lobbying against legal THC.
They just did it in Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it was the distribution lobby that actually funded them to kill everything, because it was impacting beer sales overall. But I mean, again, I think the way we look at things too, it has to change, right? We're so used to looking at beer and beer only, or beer and wine and spirits. You now have to look at intoxicating beverages.
right.
So your THC drinks are now looped into there. And I think that in some of the cases where some of these stats show that beer, wine, I know bourbon's taking a big hit right now, although there's all sorts of trade stuff that will cause that.
Blame Canada.
Right. But I think if you loop the THC beverages back into that, I bet those numbers even out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We are in a intoxicating alcohol industry. It doesn't have to be an alcohol industry. It could just be an intoxicating industry.
That's and I think maybe that's what they look at from now on is intoxicating beverages.
I would love, as a weed smoker myself, I would love to see THC go the same direction as craft beer. I would love to see the laws open up a little bit of it, because there's too often can you go to dispensary gas station at this point and get some weird shit that someone grew in a very mass scale, and it's probably not very good. Or you can go see your buddy down the street named Jeff that has some shit that he grew in his backyard at a very craft scale, man. He was putting on gloves every day and goggles and going down and watering and taking the pH. Nope, there's no grower at a large scale doing what the small grower is doing.
Yeah.
So I will draw a direct correlation between mass beer, AB InBev, and mass legal THC.
Fair.
Sure. All right, let's go back to the original.
This is a fun
Are we going to
podcast.
talk about Hops in the Hangar now?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's an air show.
There's airplanes.
To probably the 18 people that might still be listening at this
It's
point.
6 at this point.
Yeah. But what should people, how do people get tickets? What's the price? What's the hours? And hopefully the weather is nicer than what we're doing with
It is
at this point.
August 22nd. It is noon to 6, correct, Wes?
C.
And
Is it
you
6
can just,
when it is? Oh man, we've been there when the sun goes down usually.
I mean, officially, I believe
No,
it's
you have
noon to
to. You have to
6.
watch it. They might be watching you not to go.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I know that we usually have fireworks.
So you can just go to hopsinthehangar.com. You can get your tickets on sale there. If you're at either of the breweries or any of the businesses in downtown Middletown, we all have flyers up with QR codes. There are VIP tickets, as Wes talked about, where people can get in. I believe it is at 11, and there are special beers just for them. And those beers stay just for them until I think it's like 3 or 4 o'clock.
They're VIP only. They just get early access. Yeah.
So, but there's air show, there's food trucks. It's well worth it. So please come out. There's 40 plus breweries. They're all listed on Hops in the Hangar right now. I'm double checking my prices before I tell everybody something stupid and I shouldn't. VIP is general admission is $50. VIP is $65. If you're a designated driver, there is a $30 ticket for you. General admission, which is also lets you in to get the food trucks, enjoy the other accoutrements, but not the beer, I believe is $60 at the gate. I could be wrong, it might be $50. And then of course you could just linger outside the ropes and stare inside at everybody having fun and go, but why?
Yeah, you can just hang out in Smith Park and watch an air show. So.
Yeah.
So, anything else? Anything else exciting coming up before you wrap up?
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
First Bengals game this Thursday. Make sure to go to your local tap room, support them as we go on our
You're like my
championship
wife
run.
asking me if I need anything from the store. Like, yeah, probably. Shit, I can't think of it right now.
Or any other rant you want to take off?
Oh, don't start.
We don't
Don't
have
get me
5 more
started.
hours.
Yeah. Because then Dan will jump in, tell me
Actually,
how I'm wrong.
Wes,
What?
Columbus Crew or FC Cincinnati?
Oh no, FC Cincinnati.
FC.
Yeah.
No.
What? Oh, you baited me here. You baited me.
What? Me? Why would I ever do such a thing? Alex, what are your thoughts on this?
What are you, a Steelers fan too?
Oh, no, I'm a Bengals fan.
Oh, well,
But-
I wouldn't have guessed.
You know, I've won some championships in soccer that some other people haven't.
Hey, whoa. How long you been a team?
How long have we been a team?
Yeah.
96.
Oh, so you had a lot of time to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that argument doesn't fly. Look at the Browns.
Ooh. Oh, now you're going to piss off Cleveland.
That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Drive 4 hours down here to see us? I welcome it. Please drive 4 hours to see us.
And have a beer.
And drink more beer.
All right. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope to have you guys on again soon, possibly in November. Cheers.
Until you get the comments on this one.